Hey y'all, how you doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Invisible No More, right here on the Eclipse Pain Network. Once again, I'm Keith Johnson, and I'm your host for this tonight. And I'm looking forward to getting into this. I've had a lot of questions lately about a lot of different things, and so I've picked two tonight that we're going to kind of delve into. We'll start with the second. That will be at the end. I've had a lot of people asking me about how this is going with my med card, so we'll get into that. The second third of this presentation tonight. But the first part of it is talking about acronyms and how we can use acronyms ourselves to unFUBAR our healthcare that we're getting. So what am I talking about? Let's get into it. Talking about with acronyms in our healthcare and how can it get better by using them. Well, I think acronyms, they surround us in ways that we don't even understand or even recognize for the most part. They're so commonplace in today's society. One of the most famous ones I would think would be from the military. If you've ever seen like a war movie and you see like a major radioing some poor soldier in the field saying, hey, get that tank going. We need that tank over to the top side, blah, 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 blah. And all that corpsman can do is say, sir, I'd love to, but this tank is FUBAR. It's no bueno, not going to happen. When immediately the dude that's in charge understands that the tank's out of commission, doesn't ask questions, and then they start developing a new plan. Because FUBAR basically is effed up beyond all repair, right? So the corpsman doesn't have to say, well, we're missing a track, we're missing this person over here to run this side. They don't have to go into details. They can just, in a simple statement, avoid all that so they can get a new plan going. It's also see it used like Congress is famous for this kind of crap. They'll take something they want to make a law and they'll make it give it like a 92-word title just so they can cherry pick letters out so they could make it something relatable so the plebes can understand, right? A good example of that was the Canned Spam Act, which did a lot more than just canned spam, but they took the letters out of all the words they used to come up with that title for it, because who wants to say that you're going to vote against spam in your emails, right? Even though the law did other stuff. But anyway, just two examples. And so one of the examples of an acronym that I want to try to that people are asking about and I highly encourage is the use of SBAR in getting better care. Dr. Mike does a great job about talking about his 3-minute speech, and that works really well when we're going to see a new provider. But my philosophy and my take on that is extending out what his idea for the 3-minute speech into nailing it down to an SBAR format, much shorter, more concise, that we can use for each and every important office visit that we have. Because here's the thing, if the military can use it, if government can use it, if doctors' offices are already using it, why don't we take advantage of using their own acronyms, their own language, their own philosophies to help us get better care, right? That's where SBAR comes in. It stands for Situation, Background, Assessment, and Recommendation, and it's the professional standard that doctors and care teams use when they talk about us and what they're planning for us, right? It cuts the fluff down. It saves that limited 10 minutes that we get to cover the important things. And just as a side note, when people say that I'm an advocate and I agreed to become an advocate, I think this is one of the defining things about what Invisible is versus what other advocates or influencers try to do. Some influencers and advocates say, hey, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., I'm going to get laws passed that frees up your doctor to write you any kind of opioid you want. And I'm all for that. Y'all go be you. You're good at that. You're good at what you're doing, then go do it. Okay? I'm not going to discredit the idea, and I'll sign petitions. You can send them to me if I agree with what you're trying to do. My approach, though, is while they're working on that, I have to figure out how the hell I'm going to get better today. I have to worry about today and my appointment that's next week and the care plan that I need so I can get better. I'm not dealing with the legislation. I'm dealing with my current situation. And I think that's where Invisible separates itself. While we support legislation, we support people that do go out and do that great fight. We're more concerned about what can I do today? What can I change in my life today to be better? And so this is why we're talking about SBAR tonight. This is why we get into the medical med card later. It's because we're looking for ways to impact today while we're waiting on other things to happen in the future. And it's in that spirit that we're doing this tonight. And in that spirit that we talked with Evelyn the other night, who's an amazing MA, about how as a patient, as an Invisible, sometimes maybe we can get a better relationship with our MA that can help our doctor's appointments go better. It's why Invisible is always pushed to have a conversational approach with your care team instead of an adversarial approach to your care team. And in little ways, right? Instead of asking yes or no and questions, ask why questions. Make a doctor explain themselves. And that's just kind of what we do. We're not against legislation, y'all. It's just there are people that are better at it, so let the experts handle that, okay? At least they claim to be experts. But anyway, so with this SBAR, we talked with Evelyn, and then we talked just last week about how a study that was published by the National Institutes of Health talked about how, as an Invisible patient, we show up with 5.1 numbers of symptoms per appointment, and where the current shift in medical care is only one symptom, one issue per appointment. And so we're fighting that battle too. So this kind of goes on top of SBR, in my opinion, goes on top of how do we get other topics besides one brought up. And I think you can do that when you relate your situation as a flare with multiple symptoms, and SBAR can help you do that. Okay, SBAR stands for Situation, Background, Assessment, and Recommendation. The situation. All right, let's start with that. That's the very first one. It's the why. We're defining what's currently going on in our lives and why we're there to see the doctor or our care team. One or two sentences. This flare is combining all sorts of things, doc, between the pain, between my heart rate, and on like that, right? But you're keeping it, it's not our entire story. It's just two sentences max. The background, that's where we provide some context and some things as reminders to our care team of what we've tried and what we've done in the past, what's worked and what may not have worked. Both are important. Gabapentin worked for a little bit for me, but I've had to tell my doctor, it seems to have stopped. So now that's not a part of my regimen anymore. So what's worked for us and what hasn't worked. Then the assessment. This is your chance to do everything you can to take your care back into your control. Okay? These next two, assessment and recommendation. Because this assessment is based on your lived experience. This assessment is based on how this flare is impacting you. This assessment is based on how you feel the medications you're taking aren't quite enough. And this is you showing your expertise in your own condition, your own health, and your own body, and trying to take back some control of your care. And that flows right into the last one, the R, which is recommendation. This is the ask, right? This is where we put forth what we see as a possible solution. Do we need an increase in meds? Do we need to try a different med? Is this type of physical therapy not working? Or are there other ones to try? We bring up what we feel as the owner of this body, as the victim of our diagnosis. What do we feel could be things that could help us? Now, a real quick note on this recommendation. This isn't a place where I would say, these 15s aren't cutting it. Only thing that's going to help me, doc, is if you put me on Oxy 40s 5 times a day. I wouldn't go in with a number saying this is the only thing that's going to work for me. Again, I want to avoid the confrontational and the yes or no questions, and I want to go towards things that open the discussion up, the conversational approach, right? And I can say I don't think the 15s are doing what they're doing, but I would say it in a way, is there something else we can add to it, or do you think an increase might help? Again, avoid those yes or no questions and avoid the demand of it's 40 milligrams or nothing, because we know what happens when we demand like that. Chances are things don't work out for us very well. So the SBAR, how does it look like when you do it in real life? Well, I just recently did this with my doc. in regards to my ketamine. A lot of you guys know that my current pain med opioid prescription is up to 5 oxy-15s a day. And I've been taking 5, unfortunately. But I was also given 4 doses of ketamine to take. And what I've noticed was that taking a dose of ketamine with the oxy helped the oxy out incredibly. Like my oxy by itself would last 2.5 hours, maybe 3, before I had no benefit from it. But when I took my ketamine with it, I would get up to 4, if not almost 5 hours of relief from that same oxy. So my theory going into this was, can we get one more dose of the ketamine to go with that 5th dose of oxy? So this is kind of what I basically broke it down to. The situation was something like this. Doc, I'm currently on 5 doses of oxy a day, right? But I'm only taking 4 doses of ketamine, which means my coverage really isn't aligned, because we've documented that the ketamine helps the oxy. I found that by my background in this, and for background information for him, the B part, I found that ketamine is essential for the efficiency, basically getting the oxy to work, right? When they aren't taken together, the pain relief doesn't last as long, and my breakthrough pain spikes a lot quicker. The assessment. It's my thought that the ketamine is making a significant impact on the duration and the quality of my pain relief. I think bringing ketamine up to 5 doses a day to match the 5 doses of oxy would stabilize my pain management a lot better than where I'm currently at. Then there are the recommendation. What are your thoughts on increasing my ketamine to 5 doses a day to match my oxy schedule? Even though that is quite a high amount of ketamine for a daily amount to be taken. What are your thoughts? If you go back and you go through those, through each from the S to the B to the A to the R, I didn't ask him any yes or no questions. I didn't say, let's do this. When can we start this? Or let's start this today, or anything like that. I was asking, I don't want to say politely, but just laying out my case. Very short, very concise. And to be honest with you, in real life, my doctor was kind of reluctant a little bit, because that is a pretty healthy dose of ketamine per day for me, for anybody. But it turns out he understands that it works best with my oxy. And he ended up agreeing with me to going up, at least for a trial period, to 5 doses of ketamine as well. The grand plan for me is to get off of ketamine and oxy. And I'm hoping that with the addition of other parts of my plan, I'll be able to get back down to 4 pills a day of both, of ketamine and oxy. But for now, he's willing to give me that 5th dose of ketamine to help make that oxy work better, that last dose. So hopefully I can sleep better at night. And again, I just want to bring up one more time that the A part, the assessment, and the R part, the recommendation, to me, is my opportunity to show the doc that I want some control of my healthcare. Again, I didn't do yes or no questions. There wasn't any accusatory conversation. We had a conversation. We were both going into this eyes wide open. He knows what to keep a closer eye on me because of the amount of ketamine and oxy I'm taking a day. But he's also concerned that wanting me to have a better quality of life. And what do I need to get that accomplished for now? This isn't a perfect solution. It's not a permanent one, hopefully. But by having a conversation, by presenting evidence in the background to him when I present the case about the extra dose of ketamine, I think it's really one of the things that help push it over the top. It goes back to being able to have a conversation, and that's what SBAR does. So in my life, that's the most recent time that I've used this technique. Because see, I've lived it. Honestly, I have, where I know the feeling of walking into my doctor's office and it feels like I'm going into a battlefield or a minefield, not knowing what to expect, not knowing how to present things to get better care, and just be full of questions and worry and stress. But I feel that if we can effectively use SBAR, we can flip the script. We can use their own language to tell our medical team, that we're not just there to be processed, that we want to be an active, informed partner in our own care. Getting a little bit of control over our own care would be nice. And we're cutting through the fluff. We're identifying the situation and clearly stating what you need to move forward in a conversational tone. Not yelling at the doctor, not yelling at the staff, not demanding, but in asking the questions, what can we do, add to what's currently not working so that can work, so that can That's it. That's SBAR for tonight's version of Invisible Number here on the Eclipse Pain Network. Thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate you. If you're curious, a lot of people message me about the med card and how's that stuff going. That's coming up next. I love you guys, and if you don't stick around for that, I just want to say thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for joining us. You're not alone in this. If you need something, reach out. KeithCPP@gmail is the absolute best way to find me. Or if you have my cell phone number, look me up on WhatsApp, and that's probably the second best way. You guys be safe. I really do hope tomorrow's a better day for you. I hope you find your victories tomorrow because you deserve your victories. We love you. And until the end of the med card part, peace. See ya. Okay, so how's the med card working out for me? Well, I think it's working. I think it's helping. Again, I didn't go into getting this thinking it was going to be a magical cure that was going to solve all my problems in my life. I was looking for a couple of things. One is to hopefully take less pain meds. Two, to possibly help me get some sleep, because I think as an invisible, I'm not alone in the fact that that good quality sleep hasn't happened in a really long time. A really, really long time. So, has it helped me with my meds and taking the amount of meds I've been taking? Overall, I'm going to say yes. I've, for the most part, been taking all 5 of my pills I can take a day. In fact, I just went up to ketamine 5 times a day too to help that last dose of oxy work. I've noticed that out of the last 10 days, 5 of those I've only taken 4 oxys and 4 ketamine. So that's 1 less pill. That's 4 less pills in the last 10 days. And if you know me, you know how much I hate taking meds. So to me, that's a victory right there. The sleep. I was anticipating help with sleep in a little bit different way than what I'm getting. I was hoping it would turn me into a couch potato, like suck me into the sofa, right? And just knock me out. And it's not doing that. I'll take my dose, and about an hour and a half later, I'll end up going to bed. But here's the thing. I'm getting to bed by 12:30 instead of my legs and my brain keeping me up until 3:30. I'm sleeping somewhat steady until 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning instead of getting up 3 or 4 times to have a cigarette because my brain won't shut down or my body won't shut down. So is it helping that way? Yes. Dosage-wise, during the daytime, I'm allowed to take basically 5 milligrams at a time every 2 to 6 hours. At nighttime, I'm allowed up to 20 milligrams of what works in medical cannabis. I've found that at night I am taking the full 20, but I don't think I need more than that. I've been stepping myself up gradually to see give it a couple of nights to see what each dosage change has done. And I think this 20 number that I'm at, ballpark of 20, is really where I'm going to be at for a while with this specific brand, with this specific type of delivery mode. Now, there's a whole bunch more investigation and testing I have to go through to see if I can find something that would work for me during the daytime, or if I can find something that may help me sleep a little bit deeper, or help something with the pain. But for right now, if I can take less pain pills overall, that's a win. And if I can get 7 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep, of good quality, not zombied out, but good quality sleep, I'm going to take that too. So has getting my med card been a success so far? That's a yes. And if it's something you're thinking about, I'm not here to promote it. I'm not here to trash it. I'm not here to promote or trash any type of treatment plan for somebody. But I just want to let people know that if you have an option for this and if you have questions, reach out to me, KeithCPP@gmail.com. Or message me here, or message me on TikTok or Instagram, and I'll be glad to pick up the phone and call you. I'll let you know exactly step by step what I've been doing, how I got it, everything like that. But so far, for me, it's working. So maybe it might work for others. The state makes it available, so I'm going to try it. I love you guys. Again, thank you for your time tonight. I hope you find your victories tomorrow because you deserve them. I love you guys, and be safe. Peace.